Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and this is part 2 of Amir's custom videos. And if you haven't seen part 1, link in the description, but we looked at the A-grade sub-collection in his 13-piece collection of the watches he wears the most. And I take it he's got even more watches. These are just the watches, the 13 watches he wears the most. We looked at 4 of them. The ones that he wants to keep, the ones that are lifetime achievements, awesome, thumbs up, and we get to the lesser pieces in this video. This should be fun for everybody, except maybe Amir. Okay, he's gonna have a good time too. Here's some pieces that I think could be filler or, well, they're certainly inferior to that 4-piece collection we looked at in video 1. And let me just go down the list. And there are 3 more Omega watches, all right? The 007 Seamaster Bond, No Time to Die. It's a very attractive watch, and in fact, it's right up there with the Spectre edition as one of the best-looking James Bond Omegas, all right? But I'm 44, I'm not 14, so the James Bond watches don't really appeal to me, and I think they're a little bit corny, and I take it back to, what was it, Goldfinger? I don't know, but James Bond, the real James Bond, Sean Connery, and they gave him a Submariner because it brought up the character, right? Of course, Ian Fleming had an Explorer, and I think James Bond in the novels had an Explorer, but when it came time for the movie, they found somewhere on set, I want to say it was a no-date sub, I think it was something like a 5513, and they let Sean Connery use it. They had him use it because, again, it brought the character up, okay? So Rolex brought the character up. These days, the character, James Bond, brings Omega up. And that should tell you something about where these watches sit on the food chain, all right? The James Bond watch. Okay, so attractive, not a fan, not A grade, B grade for sure. Okay, so B grade part of the collection. And that's why it wasn't in video 1. All right, number 2, the Seamaster 300 Trilogy reissue. Okay, so this is a reissue. We've got fake patina. It's a beautiful watch, attractive watch. If you really want to punch it, then an original 300. Kind of expensive, so this is sort of a second fiddle option. And again, it's not A grade, it's B grade. It's a good watch, awesome watch. It's not nearly up there with the subs we looked at. But, you know, it is what it is. And let me just go off on another tangent and say, look, it's very tempting to add Omega watches because they're easy to find. You can get them for cheap, especially on the pre-owned market. And it sort of gives you that brand name status with your collection. And look, I could add a pre-owned Speedmaster, would be what, 3 or 4 grand, maybe even less. And I'd get Omega in the collection. It would make the collection look bigger and have that brand name in there. But is that loser talk? Yeah, kind of, right? I mean, the bigger your collection gets, and this is the case with Amir, you want to focus on really good watches. And so these, what I think are quality Omega watches, but subpar in comparison to his A-grade collection, I would get away from these. I would buy no more, okay? It's time to focus on really good watches that fit into that A-grade tier that you have that we've already talked about. Unless you like these watches, and if you do, carry on, all right? So that's what I see with this watch. A fantastic, good quality watch, but it doesn't punch like an A-tier watch. It's a B-tier watch, okay? Next, Certina DS PH200M. Okay, this is, you should have one of these watches in the collection, and I mean like a shitter, okay? A wearable, kind of an attractive watch that you like. Look, I've got my very first mechanical watch. It's a Blue Mako Orient, and look, if I were talking about my collection, I might include that watch because it means something in terms of the history of my collection. Okay, it's the very first mechanical watch I got. It's what started it all. it deserves to be there, okay? But any more than one, no, okay? You're not going to hear me explain my collection with references to a Timex Q or some Seiko 5s that I have, or some Vostoks that I have, okay? And this is the same kind of thing. I mean, we really shouldn't even be talking about it, but again, it's what he wears. He needs at least one watch like that, like this. So this could be the Certina, okay? Next, the Seiko SLA 01762 MAS reissue. Okay, again, one of these, Certina level watches. Of all the 5 shitters, okay, Archie's word, not mine, all right, I would choose the Seiko, okay? The Seiko would be what I would keep, okay? That would be my sort of either daily wear if you want something you can kind of beat around with, or a beater as they call it. The Seiko would be it. So this would be it. The Certina would go, or probably I never would have bought it. Again, if it was part of the collection journey, I get it. But if you bought this yesterday, I'd say why, okay? All right, next, Arado Captain Cook 37mm, okay? Might be an attractive watch, usable as a beater, but we're talking Certina stuff. You already have it with the Seiko, so this is something that just sort of takes away from the collection. And that's why I didn't put them all together, because the Captain Cook, as much as you'll like it and you might wear it, it's not A grade, it brings the collection down, all right? So, yeah. And then we have the Christopher Ward, and that's another one that just, it shouldn't be even something we're talking about. It's a shitter, and you might like it, but whatever, okay? You only need one of these watches, and you got it in the Seiko, I think. We have a Yima, or an Ima. I don't know quite how you say that brand. Again, it's an attractive watch, but one of those shitter quality watches that you probably wouldn't bring up when you're talking about your collection. We all have them, all right? You've got it with the Seiko. Again, that's your beater right there. Okay, and then we've got his newest addiction, the Breitling, and this is an interesting watch. It's so weird and different, and it's one of those sort of analog/digital watches, and that's a really popular thing for people here in Japan. I'm talking like older guys who are not watch guys, and they often have the dedicated bracelet. They're Casios. Never been a fan, but this is Breitling. It brings Breitling into the collection. That's a good thing, but you're bringing Breitling into the collection in sort of a weak way. It's sort of like having a Breitling Colt in the collection. Yeah, it gives you a Breitling, but it's a Colt. It's not quite grade A Breitling. So it's a new watch. Have fun with it. This could be an awesome beater. I mean, I could see this as your beater, brand name beater, and then you'll let the Seiko go. And by the way, do you need to let any of these sort of sub grade C shitters go? Not really. You're not going to make any money. You're probably not ever going to have them serviced. Just keep them in the collection. You already have them. You're not going to, you've already spent the money on them, okay? So getting out of them is just going to cost you money, so just keep them, all right? But don't buy any more, all right? And that's the point. We're at the end of talking about his watches, and going forward, don't buy any more sub A grade watches, okay? Otherwise, you're just going to get more, more B and C grade watches. You want to go, instead of wide, you want to go deep. That's my advice. I'm thinking of adding a 16570 Polar in the future. Not sure yet, but I'm thinking about another Rolex to wear and enjoy, not to invest. Perfect thing for you, because it would be a white dialed GMT function watch. Again, going back to your A grade collection, you've got 2 divers, you've got your sort of dress watch in the Explorer, you have their chronograph in the first Omega in space, and number 5, a white dialed spelunking watch, right? The Explorer 2 with the GMT function, great travel watch. That would be a great 5-piece A-grade collection, all right? That's the creme de la creme, right? So I second that. If you want to go newer, you could always go with the 42mm Explorer, get that polar dial, the newer movement. I like the aesthetics of the 40mm. That's the way I would do it. Some people would say, well, you've got a lot of pre-ceramic watches. If you were to get that GMT in a ceramic GMT, that would be kind of nice. It's true, it would give you a more modern Rolex, modern feel, a little bit of balance between the vintage and the modern. But I don't think you need to do that. If you want to, you can. But you've already got your sights set on an Explorer 240mm, and I think that's a great one. And it would really be a nice addition to that A-grade part of your collection. He says, I also have a very small watch channel on YouTube where I talk about watches. You don't have to mention it. I will and I am. Please check out Amir. And there you go. And he tells me, assess the watches, not the channel. Okay, look, I checked out the channel. Cool. Hey, a guy who likes watches putting some eye candy up for us. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Check it out. You can contact Amir. Amir, if you want to, let us know a little bit about those Rolex watches. Where did you get them? Any kind of backstory information is kind of nice. And if you drop a comment in the comment section, I'll be sure to pin it and send it to the top and everybody can see it. So let Amir know what you would do. He's got a great A-grade collection, and that's really what I want to focus on. A lot of lifetime achievement pieces, 3 Rolexes, 1 great Omega. Let's forget about the B-grade and C-grade collection. Look, have fun with that, Amir. I'm just giving you a hard time, but really you don't want to put your money in those kind of watches anymore. You want to go, instead of wide going forward, go deep, and you're absolutely right in identifying the 16570 Explorer 240mm. It'll give you that GMT function, give you that white dial. That I don't think you have a white dial in your collection. Yeah, it's like black dials, all black dials. You need a white dial, absolutely. One other thing that I'll mention is a blue dialed or the slate dialed Yachtmaster. It has that dive watch feel. Going to bring a little color. You've already got your dive watches, but it could be your on-the-ship watch. So that's something that you might want to look into, and that would, again, fit in that A-grade collection. That's so nice. So thank you, Amir, for these custom video reviews. Guys, let Amir know what you think. Let me know what you think. Was I too hard on some of these Omegas? Oh, I forgot one, in fact. Oh, I did. Here we get to the end. Okay, a 5th generation, released in 2000, Seamaster 300. How could I forget about that? I probably should have, and he probably should have too. Again, B-grade. Okay, so guys, let me know what you think. Let him know what you think. And going forward, go deep, go good, go Rolex, go top tier Omega if you want to. But C-grade watches, don't even think about getting those anymore. And I think you have enough B-grade Omegas, so go deep. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.